Hey all, my name's Kelvin and today we're going to be taking a look at Holdfast Nations of War. I know we recently took a look at War of Rights, but I wanted to take a look at Holdfast Nations of War as well. It's a very similar game I suppose, but I say War of Rights is more hardcore, where this leans towards the more arcade side of things, so it's a lot easier to get into. It's set during the Napoleonic era. I think most of the major nations that were involved in that are represented in the game, so depending on what game mode the server is set to, there might be different nations to choose from, so it's not always going to be British, it's not always going to be French, and so on. Now there's another major kind of game mode in this that takes the game into World War One. It was released a while ago now, but it's not as popular. You still get one or two servers that are probably full for that, but the majority of the people are playing this Napoleonic era version of the game. There are a ton of different game modes as well, like this one that we're looking at the moment. This is like capture the areas and hold on to them to win the battle. There's sieges, there's naval battles, there's mixes of naval and sieges. There's quite a lot to it. It's been around for a while, and you know they have been constant with their updates, adding new features and so on as the game's been around. In this video, we'll mainly take a look at this game mode. But I'll also show what the naval combat side of things is like. I couldn't find a full server, so I'm just having a quick look at the boats. I think they're waiting for kind of an overhaul for that. I think that's next on the devs list. So it's probably why it's not as popular at the moment. But yeah, let's jump in and take a look. So this is conquest mode between Russia and France. I could only list into the Russian side here because the French had the most players. I'm going to go a light infantryman here, but there's a lot of different classes you can choose from. Some are, you know, obviously the commanders and stuff like that. You got to try and lead the battle and so on. There's line infantry, there's skirmish infantry like I am here. And then there's kind of support infantry like medics and engineers and so on. That are all key parts to the game. But yeah, I've gone skirmish here just so I can show you what it's like fighting in the game rather than doing any of the support side of things. As you can see, the main difference with this one off the bat there is third person. You can actually switch to first person as well, so you've got kind of a decent choice of what you want to do. I do like playing in first person, but obviously you lose the advantage of being able to see from above you and over scenery and so on. But you know, I usually do play in first. And it's also a lot more forgiving to get into than War of Rights was. I mean, War of Rights is kind of hardcore, you know. People expect you to do certain things. You get, you know, you can lose points for your team if you're not in line formations and so on. This is just a lot more forgiving, a lot easier to get into, and a lot more fun just to jump into for a quick fight. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure on the clan servers, because there are quite a few clan servers where they kind of organise proper fights, they expect you to kind of pay attention and do what your commanding officers are saying and so on. But for these open servers like this, you can just jump in and just have a bit of fun. You can listen to the commanding officers and, you know, do what they say if you want to try and win the fight a bit easier. But yeah, I like skirmishing like this, sitting in the back, taking pot shots when I can, getting some decent kills. Similar to War of Rights as well, there is local voice comms. I've turned it off at the moment because it can get overwhelming. They were a bit enthusiastic in War of Rights. In this, even more so at times. But lucky you can just mute it completely. Movement's a bit more easy in this as well. It's just, like I said, it's more of like an arcade-y type FPS rather than a sim. So moving around is a lot faster. You can jump around, you know. You can squeeze off those headshots as well if you want, but it's not super fast like COD or anything like that. But it's kind of sat in between, I say. And you know the weapons are also not laser rifles either. They do act like kind of muskets. It's just a bit more forgiving than War of Rights was. At the top of the screen here, you got the points you got to capture, A, B, and C. Above that, you got the flags of each nation, and then the points. Basically, they tick up faster the more of these capture points you hold. And on the right, you've got your kills going on. On the left-hand side, you've got some chat. And again, different to War of Rights, you've got yourself a little map on the bottom left-hand corner there, so you can see kind of where your friends are, where the enemies are. And when you die, you can actually respawn at these tents that one of the classes can build. So it helps you if you have some of the classes that can build the tents and medics and so on. They can all help you out. They can all help you survive and spawn faster. And obviously those tents can get taken out by the enemy team, so you've got to, you've got to protect them as well if you want to keep your forward spawn points. I've also quickly turned the chat back on here so you can have a quick listen to the kind of the voice chat that goes on. And as you can see, yeah, it's it can get quite noisy at times, but it's a bit of fun as well, I suppose. So it's depends how much you can put up with. Sometimes you get some crazy people just shouting crap all the time, or playing music over their mics and so on. So sometimes it's good just to mute, but other times it can be a lot of fun. There's also melee combat in this game, as you would expect. It's quite good. It's I mean, I say quite good. There's no blocking or anything like that. It's just swinging your sword or stabbing with your musket. Oh shit! I got killed from someone behind me then. But it's quite effective. You can get some decent kills with melee. And yeah, it can be a lot of fun. And here I spotted one of my teammates stealing one of the enemy cannons. Because yeah, there are cannons in this game. Especially on I think on the one side, and this has the cannons and the other side doesn't. So you can steal them and basically stop them being able to use them. And I managed to bayonet this guy off his horse. And then I got to try and protect this guy, basically stealing their cannon. Which is a little bit of fun, There's a few of them rushing us. So I was trying to get a reload off before they got to me. And I managed to do pretty well, yeah, I think. Except I fucking completely missed, so I have to run into melee. Oh, dodge that. Get back in, stab that guy. Nice. But yeah, now we've stolen their cannons, so they've got one less artillery piece they can use against us. And yeah, with artillery pieces and stuff like this, it's actually designed for kind of multiple people to kind of crew it. So as you can see, I can actually join in and help push this cannon as well. So I'll do that, and it just makes it go a bit faster. But once it's in position, you can actually have two people manning it. One's loading and one's firing, just to make that a bit quicker. But of course, we can't actually use this cannon our side because I don't think we got any ammo or anything for it. So it's literally just getting it out of their area so they can't use it against us. At the end of the fight, it'll give you a breakdown of your stats, each team score and so on. It'll give you the kind of the top 5 players and then where you came in the team. So as you can see, I came 20th there with 18 kills, 7 deaths, so it wasn't too bad. And then yeah, if you were going to continue, you would then vote for what you wanted the next match to be. Before we end the video, I want to take a quick look at the naval combat. Now you get different sizes ships you can choose, and they can take a certain amount of crew each. Obviously the frigates are the biggest ones, they can take the most crew. And then you get some smaller ships as well. Now, when you play in this game on a live server, you can obviously choose what ship, if it has space, and just spawn on that ship. And each ship will have its own kind of crew loadout. So, you can have a different selection of crew, from Marines to support staff to standard sailors. So again, there's a good selection to choose from in this. And this is, I just spawned on one of the biggest ships just to show what it's like. Obviously it's completely empty now because I'm on an empty server, but just to give you an idea. Each person can man one of these cannons, and you kind of got to manually load them. Next to each of the cannons, like an ammo box, and you pick the ammo from there, and you have to put it into the cannon and then fire it. So there's different types of ammo as well, so you basically choose what kind of ammo you want to use, load it, and then you kind of push the cannon forward. Once it's ready, you can then fire it. Now, controlling the cannon or aiming the cannon is you basically use the keyboard for. It's a bit weird, but whatever, it does seem to work fine. And then you use the mouse just to fire it. And yeah, when you've got like 20 or 30 people on each of the ships, it can be quite a good game fighting big duels between these big ships. But I think the devs are planning to kind of overhaul this next. It's going to be the next big overhaul they do, from what I gather. So there's not many playing these at the moment. They're mainly concentrating on the ground combat. And that's a shame, because this used to be a hell of a lot of fun. But I guess it just needs a lot of work still. It's still a bit buggy, as you can see with these ropes. Don't know how that's happened. But yeah, hopefully they'll get the overhaul done for this as well, and Naval will be back into the game again. I used to like the ones, used to kind of start off in like a naval fight like this, and you would have to try and get people on shore to kind of attack a fort as well, and it was all part of the same game, and it's quite fun. But yeah, it looks like they're not really concentrating on this at the moment. I guess the console release, they just wanted to get the ground combat perfect for it as well. Sailing is pretty basic. There is some wind, as you can see on the bottom left in the compass. I believe that arrow there is the direction of the wind. You can control each of the sails with your numbers. I believe it is. Yeah, it's numbers. So from 1 to 6 on this one. So yeah, it's got some detail to it, so you can change the speed and stuff for your ship. But yeah, it's not like a sailing sim or anything like that. This is like an action FPS, easy to get into, easy to sail around. Yeah, it used to be a bit of fun, but like I said, they're pretty empty these days. I think there's one server maybe that has quite a decent population most nights, so you can still get a game of it if you want. There is a progression system as well. As you play through the game, you can unlock different rifles. I'm not sure if they have massive stat differences or if it's just they look slightly different, but they're definitely there. There's definitely a small progression system you can work through. But yeah, guys, that is a quick look at Holdfast Nations of War. I think it's a pretty cool Napoleonic era kind of arcade-ish FPS. Very easy to get into. You know, you can just jump in for half hour, have a lot of fun. You don't have to really think about it too much unless you want to. Just had a massive player boost as well with the console release, so I think this is probably the best time to try and get into it if you were ever interested in it anyway. Because there's a healthy player base, you know, there's probably 10 or so servers maxed out most nights to 150 players. So yeah, it's definitely the time to play it. And when I say most nights as well, I mean EU prime time, of course. Now there's US servers and Australian servers as well, and they'll have their own prime times. I'm not 100% sure how they are, but I would have thought just as popular. I just want to thank everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.
That's it, laddies. Come on, hold the line. That's the word.
Man, get to the law!
I'm loving this from you, lad.